Hi, this is Dana, and I thank you. I want to start this video by thanking those who donated to support my work and my channel, um, and of course to welcome anyone who's inclined to support my channel by donating. They will find all information in the description box below. On this channel, I talk about spiritual warfare, and everything that I share with you are information, knowledge uh, gained through the direct spiritual fighting, divine guidance received by myself in my own spiritual fighting from God, from Jesus, and from different other divine beings from divine realm. Much of it comes also from with the support of Akashic records and the karmic board with which I work in my prophetic writing. You find all my prophetic writings on my Facebook page. And with this being said, I will get to the topic. Since in the last video, I spoke about the importance of 3D action, God guided me to talk in this video about money. Money, of course, have a critical role in 3D, right? We live in consumerist societies where money makes the world go round, right? Now, I already take a few notes because this was a late minute guidance from God. And because this is a very broad topic, very complicated topic, and very important topic to discuss. So hopefully I will touch upon the most important issues related to this. Now, money, essentially from a spiritual purpose, from a spiritual perspective, are the symbol of power, right? Why? Because essentially God determines for each individual the rank, the status, and the wealth coming with it. These are the divine rights. Yeah, the divine rights essentially um, determine or represent your worth, everything that you are. Always the means that you receive, meaning the money, the material possessions, and all the resources associated to your status and ranking um, are calculated in such a way so you can achieve your purpose. I mean, uh, everything has the logic. You know, when you see all these karmic people being envious of a divine individual for their wealth or for their money or for their divine rights, which didn't even come into fruition yet, it's a bit silly because all those resources come from God, are part of your purpose on this earth, and essentially those money come to you to achieve that purpose. Those money do not come to you just to play around with them. Anyhow, that's the broad picture. So this is how the money were conceived, right? For because it represents all of these divine rights and essentially your worth. Money carry your energy imprint. Okay, your money carry your energy imprint. This is how they were created. The money were created as in spiritual realm, and this is the definition of how the spirit of money works. Now, what happened in 3D was they flipped the concept around, and essentially they said, "Who has money has worth." Okay, this is not how this goes actually. This is not how it goes. This is not how God sees it. This is not how the divine realm judges. But this is how they did it, and they did it so because then it became sort of legitimate in their mind um, to do anything to get money, because money to them symbolizes power and who you are. So they use how money you have to determine who you are, which is the other way around than God does it, right? But this is how they did it. In order to justify all the criminal activities and mafiotic activities they carry on, in order to gain money, and with the money, the power and the status and the ranking, which are not theirs. Okay, this is why the entire system became the entire matrix became so rotten, because they started doing so much wrong things, so many wrong things to gain money, that it God has shown me long time ago, and I wrote in my prophetic writings, I think in 2019 or 18 or 20, that there is a bondage on the spirit of money which must be broken, because at this point in time, the spirit of money is burdened by much darkness and criminal activities which they have done with the money. Okay. Anyhow, this is the background, the backdrop of our discussion. This is how the money were conceived by divine realm. This is how they flipped around the definition to serve their own interests, and to legitimize their criminal activity. Now, another type of bondage creation with regards to money is the one in which they went out of their way in order to confine the spiritual workers, so the divine beings, to the concept of how of a misguided, God says to me right now, misguided generosity, in which they think they should work for free, which is a very wrong perception. A spiritual worker doesn't have to work for free. First of all, to be very clear on this, because I know this is a topic of great debate in social media. Uh, if you work for free, if you use your gifts of energy, working for free for different individuals, you encourage by astral rules. These are the astral rules. If there is no balance in a relationship, that relationship becomes draining. It becomes a vampiric type of relation in which um, uh, different type of entities are using this relation to feed on you. Okay, so you essentially just um, become the subject to enslavement by your own free will, by choosing to work for free. This is very wrong. In any type of relation, there must be a fair exchange. If you perform any type of service, including a tarot reading, including a Reiki healing, including anything, there must be a balance in what you give and what you take. So it's more than just legitimate, but it's desirable that you request an amount to be donated or paid for your services, and to have actually a very clear definition of what those money are exchanged for, are paid for. Okay. But again, it's a very wrong perception out there, and they created this in order to legitimize enslavement, a mentality of enslavement, essentially, where individuals feel guilty of taking money because they say, "I'm doing spiritual work, I cannot take money." This is very and I'm gonna say it. It's very stupid. I hesitated for a while, but then I'm gonna say it. It's very stupid. You cannot be saying God wants people to have wealth according to their work. At no point in time, God wants people to work for free. That is very wrong. Um, but again, they created this mentality of lack and poverty, and of being at peace with being in poverty, being at peace with being enslaved and used by others. So they created it as a bondage in order for them to feed on these individuals. And this has been created in many ways. And for example, in my spiritual fighting, I found that uh, they create a scenario, and they plant it somewhere in your family tree, or in your own historical background of different incarnations or embodiments, where you took a vow of poverty, supposedly, as a monk, or as, I don't know, some type of other worker. And they say, that, so they create this artificially, these bondages, in order to instill on you this mentality, um, of enslavement, where you find it to be normal for you to work for free and to provide different kind of help or service to others for free. This is very wrong. This is not correct. So these are the two types of, I gave you two examples of the ways in which they created bondage on money and on money earning, and income coming. Yeah. Now what I will, because I took some notes to make sure that at least I have a few important issues to convey to you on this topic. Now, another part that I want to address now is the fact that money, because they have energy imprint on them, will carry the energy imprint of the person from whom you take them. Okay. um, Also, artificial energy imprint can be created on money, which means witchcraft, which means sorcery, and all sorts of darkness, and the dark magic works can be done on money. Now, um, what does it mean? Basically, it means that the intent of the individual who gives you the money determine if those money are beneficial or not for you. I will give you one example in my spiritual journey, but not only, but especially in my spiritual journey. um, God has guided me at different times to spend all the money. And imagine, and I was traveling with my dog, which many times makes it difficult, because you don't find transportation, you don't find accommodations, you don't find, so you have to spend more money to pay extra, and to anyhow. So and all of a sudden God would say, just spend all the money now, because they created some sort of witchcraft, and too much darkness you will draw too much darkness to you, according to that. So it was, and God showed me. I was, of course, you can imagine. Sometimes I would say, this is crazy. I need money tomorrow as well. We need to eat. I need to pay for the room tomorrow. What do we do tomorrow? And God will say, don't mind tomorrow. You will not reach tomorrow if you don't spend the money now. Just spend all the money now. So I had to. And actually, I could feel the difference in my energy field. I could feel the release of darkness when I spent those money. So actually, all of, as I said in the beginning of the video, everything that I share with you is experienced by me. So I never talk about anything that hasn't been tested in my own personal experience, authentic. Um, Now, because of the possibility to create artificial energy imprint on money, there are many ways in which money are being used to create darkness attacks at you. And I will give you a few examples. When I started initially my conscious spiritual fighting in 2018, what happened was that I sold a property, an apartment, and with the money that I received, I paid a credit, a loan, a mortgage loan, which I had for that apartment, and the rest of the money I used to pay for the house that I own now, in which I live. But I could feel God was guiding me what to do and who to sell it to. Because when you, for example, when you sell an item and you receive money from that individual, those money can be beneficial or not for you, according to what I said before. So you might be in a rush to sell a property, and to gain the money. So, but it might be that the person who comes to give you the money will do much harm to you through those money. The same applies also for readings and everything else. You don't know for sure if the money you receive are good or not for you unless you ask guidance. Should I receive or not money from this person? Should I do a reading for this person or not? And so on. I could feel the difference, and God has shown me that loans, bank loans, mortgage loans, all of this are being used with password encoded, with different type of spirit attachments, and different type of witchcraft on them. As I said before, I could feel the difference. Actually, this is how I learned. God told me, as you make this transfer, bank transfer of this money, or you when you receive this money, watch your energy. Just watch your energy. Notice, observe, be in withdraw your light body and observe what happens to your energy field, so you will understand. Then when I understood, when God showed me all of this, and I understood that the money were being used for darkness attack, then all of the sudden, I made a decision, and I made a few moves with money, and I started my spiritual fighting consciously with money, um, guided by God. And essentially, what I did, I closed all bank accounts, and I noticed the change in my energy field. What type of attacks disappeared, what type of attacks appeared. Then I moved to totally different banks. I opened new accounts. Um, God showed me that there are specific um, stores, where you go to buy just grocery or some stuff, clothing, whatever you want to buy, and all of them are involved in this matrix, where they actually give um, access to all these secret societies to do work on money. So you purchase something, and they can do work on the money that you give, not only on the money that you take. And so I carried a spiritual fighting by money. Uh, for example, I withdrew all my funds from all the banks. I closed all the accounts. Then I asked guidance where to go buy, where are basically, because I was doing so many changes. There were many attacks at me, and I wanted to shift somehow to control the type of attacks coming. So I asked God where to go spend in order to change the type of attacks sent to me. So I would go and spend the money at those stores where the owners were connected with the attacks being sent to me. And this way, by spending my money in their own stores, at the time God showed me there was sorcery done on my money. So I said, fine, then I will bring you some of the spirits that you're sending to me. Let's see if you enjoy it, you know, because they've been driving me crazy. Let's see if you feel the same way then. And I spent all the money there, for example. Or I just gave you one example so you'll understand. You can work with money this way in terms of spiritual fighting. You can, and you must observe patterns and notice the type of attacks which either stop when you spend the money, or when you take the money, when you give the money, or so on, or the type of attacks which start when you do that. Because if an attack starts when you do that, essentially it means that some darkness was lifted, and then you can see. It doesn't mean that the attack starts only then. It means that's when your awareness is high enough so you can understand what kind of attack has been carried on you all this time, when you had a loan, a mortgage, or something there, you know. Or if they have a bondage on your money, if a specific attack starts, then it means they were feeding on you. And since they cannot feed anymore, those entities get aggressive, you know. So this is something that I highly recommend in your spiritual fighting. You clearly must have guidance from God, because you cannot know out of nowhere where to spend. I asked guidance for everything, and I was very successful, I must tell you. Because what I succeeded was, they were all ganged up against me, a number of secret societies. So I said, I want to break them apart. So I'm going to use all the rest of the money that are left from this transaction which I made with this apartment to change this so I can break them up. And I succeeded to do that because I went and I purchased from one individual many times. So the individuals came and attacked him, you know. And then I switched around. So there are many ways in which you can play around with this in order to, and then you can watch who's attacking whom, so you can observe this in astral, so you can actually define and understand who are your enemies, who is after you, you know. This is essential in spiritual fighting. Otherwise, you keep fighting demons and spirits sent to you, but you never actually get to fight against the individuals who are sending them to you. So it's a pointless fight. That's not an effective spiritual fighting. Because you just I don't know how to say this in English. It's just an empty victory. While you keep fighting those spirits, but since the bondage exists, those spirits will keep coming. You must fight those individuals who send them, so you can destroy the bondage which they created, which gives legitimacy to spirits to come to you. I mean, as I was doing spiritual fighting, I must tell you that actually I had spirits that and and demons that actually said this to me: we are sent here, we are sent here. I mean, there was no legitimacy in the attack because they were summoned, conjured, and sent to attack based on a fake accusation, a slander. And believe it or not, in underworld, the spirits and the demons respect astral rules, and according to astral rules, they had no right to attack me. You know, and essentially what they said: we are sent here, we are sent, and we are tasked to attack this way. So you can actually learn a lot from entities from underworld, but they are more honest than the individuals in 3D who are using them, actually, to be very honest. Okay, so I summed up some of the relevant aspects of money and use of money in spiritual fighting. I will say that to clear up um, to clear up money, but also to clear up negative karma or so on, donating, charity is the one way to do it. It cleanses the money, it cleanses whatever is that you donate, because sometimes you don't donate money, you might donate maybe items or properties, or I don't know. um, so essentially donating, so doing charity work, that brings divine grace upon the one who is donating and on the one who is receiving. And through personal experience, I know and I have witnessed this. I hope everybody knows divine grace is the highest type of healing that there exists. And it's, I don't know how to describe it, but it's absolutely something spectacular. And it's a very, very, very deep healing, an overall healing of yourself, of the situation, of everything. And again, I say donating and charity cleanses this. Um, but yet again, I emphasize that donating also is important, and I made a note here to talk about this. So if you receive donation from somebody who created a bondage on you, and they say that those money or whatever they give to you is sort of like a way for the two of you to make up, to sort of like a forgiveness, buying your forgiveness with those money. um, if it's not the harm done to you, if it's not acknowledged, and if it's not honestly acknowledge, this kind of donation will drag you down, will bring darkness to you. Essentially, will mean that by receiving those money, it's exactly like in a law of court of law. If you receive those money, then divine justice might not be prevailing if God doesn't guide you that this is a fair situation, because redemption means that these individuals must go give back the money they stole and do all this. But if they do it in a deceiving way, or in a way which is not fair to the type of harm they have created, or so on, it can be even a donation which normally brings divine grace to all involved. If it's not done properly, and it's done with ill intent, or it doesn't reflect the divine justice for that situation and the individuals involved, then it can become a way for you to give power to that individual to do more harm to you in the future. So it's not always, for example, I personally always ask guidance from God if I should receive money or anything from any individual, because it might end up being something that is harming me instead of doing good to me. Even if there's a donation, for example, I have my PayPal account in the description box. When I receive a donation, I ask God, do I keep this money or not? If God says these are not good for you, then I donate those money further to somebody else. And this way, by divine grace, uh, I am healed from whatever it was sent to me with those money, you know. Um, but I don't just accept it blindly. Okay, I don't accept it blindly. I ask guidance, because it can help you, but it can also harm you. Okay, it's the same like, how in spiritual fighting you're not allowed, when you have high very intense attacks. For example, when you have satanic attacks, like if you have a satanic sacrifice done on you, for example, or a satanic claim done on you, I think those that have went through this probably know, you are not allowed to eat while you are fighting Satan. And this is something that Jesus has guided in me in my spiritual fighting against this kind of witchcraft done at me. And Jesus explained to me, you are not allowed to eat in his presence, because it would mean like you acknowledge and accept his presence. So you're not allowed to, you must fight, cast him out of your house, and then, only then you eat. This is part of the reason why also during fighting satanic attacks, you fast, complete fasting, no food, no drinks, nothing. This is what the church doesn't explain it why, but this is why, part of it, why you do this. Yeah, so I think I will stop here because the video is long and it's difficult to upload. I did touch upon many of the issues, but my latest reference, when I said you're not eating in the presence of the enemy, God is showing me to make the link, refers to the donations. So it's a parallel made with the donations. Sometimes they can be they can bring divine grace, and this is very important. But sometimes, if they are done with satanic rituals and witchcraft and ill intentions, are the same like the situation when you fight Satan. You don't eat in the presence of Satan or the enemy. Hence, you don't receive money or presents or anything from individuals who do satanic works and have ill intent for you and so on. Although, in principle, any donation, any charity brings divine grace, right? I said this before. Okay, I will stop here now. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, so I will get a chance to make my work reach as many people as possible, in the hope that it will help them in their spiritual fighting. Again, all the knowledge I'm sharing is authentic. knowledge received by me in divine guidance during my own spiritual fighting. Everything is tested, nothing is theoretical. Thank you, and we'll see each other in the next video. Bye.